welcome to another edition of the Eternal Journey. I am That Resolves, and this is FJS Charge. So ManuS has recently uploaded a video about this, and I think this is like perhaps the next logical step in the FJS removal pile decks. And it's pretty interesting. It's got quite a lot going on for it. It's got a couple of inclusions on this lifesteal and charge damage fee. We've got Vicious Highwayman, which doesn't look like it fits in this deck very much, but the rest of the text, it sort of fits together in sort of this removal package, in that not only can you use this when it has the play to just remove like some sort of small token or just like X1 unit, but when you pair it with all the removal and weapons we've got in the deck, you've actually got a really resilient unit, as it's going to very often just have lifesteal and quick draw and just be able to keep our life totals high. We've also got the Whirling Duo, which is something I never thought I'd see in this sort of control deck, but it allows us to really punish weapons in sort of like the mirror matches, as well as just really holding Icaria buffs. As when this is an 8-8 against like a beatdown deck, this is busted. Like, forget Icaria closing the door, like this is lights out. We're still playing like some of the other gunslingers, like the Stonepowder Alchemist, and we've got the Inquisitor and Makto and Icaria package, as well as we are on the theme with just removing things. We've got some Statuary Maidens here, as this is going to be helpful against perhaps some other Inquisitor Maktos, as well as just being like a really good roadblock, and pairing up with our removal to give us a bunch of cudgels that we can put on our Vicious Highwaymans, or perhaps even our Whirling Duos and Stonepowder Alchemists, to keep them relevant in the later game. We do have the wanted poster stuff, which is getting a little bit more dubious as time goes on, and we move to sort of play. We're sort of going a little bit tighter on the removal now, being a little bit more efficient with what we've selected as well. So we've got the full playset of torches, but we just have the Annihilates, Vanquishes, and Slays, which all seem to have like dropped down in number. We're not playing Harsh Rule or anything like that, but we do have the Auric Runehammer. And I'm pretty excited to give this deck a go, even though it is currently the Scourge of the ladder, the colour pair that is Fire, Justice, and Shadow. Although people may be upset by this, this is a much better time than when time is the most dominant on the ladder of the games. So on the plate, and this sounds a bit of a mishmash. I'd be much more interested in this if we had some scouts. But we do have the capability to basically play Whirling Duo, which will sort of keep us going, and then be able to play the Makto. I'm sure we'll just draw better, so we'll keep it. So currently we're a little bit light in Shadow, so let's grab a Shadow and just carry on with our lives. We're probably just going to want to, if you are getting some sort of beatdown deck, just want to attack with this rather than just keeping it blocking the first turn, just so we can actually get some actual life out of it. Looks like Stone's guy over here with a Crest. Yeah, this could very well be the mirror. So looks like it might not actually be. Well, if it's not, I'm happy to attack. If it felt more like the actual mirror here, then I'd probably keep this because it can pop off some weapons. But it looks like we're going pretty low on weapons. Okay, we'll get to just have it all. And I think we'll just attack it. Let's scout. I ideally want to get like triple blocked and use an Annihilate. Yep, Statuary Maiden is probably pretty good against whatever our opponent's doing here. If they want a triple block, we'll probably Annihilate though. The Annihilate does get better later on if this is actual grand ends. Okay, just single blocking, that's fine. That seems not great. I think what our opponent probably wants to do is just have like a massive units. But it could very well just not be like the actual grand and mid-range deck. It could just be just an actual beatdown deck, just have a terrible draw. I suppose we'll see on turn 5 when like they start getting some action going. Okay. Well, that's fine. So okay, so they're definitely gonna have 5 next turn. So this concerns me a little bit because I feel like our Maktos is gonna get madnessed and like combusted, so what do we do here? So I feel like there's potentially like a Madness in our mist, but since we don't have another unit, it has to be exactly Madness Devour. It can't be Madness Combust, so the Makto is probably going to be a bit of liability here. And perhaps I should wait until our opponent's ground out. So I'm just going to lead with the Stat Maiden. I'd really be much more interested to play the Stat Maiden with the Annihilate up, But we also can't just sit here not doing anything. So we're just going to attack here. I'm just going to sort of get our opponent pretty low on cards before I start playing anything out. We've got the Slate and the Annihilate, so we've got pretty good answers to Gear Crunchers and any Stone Scar Scrappers. I suppose not doing anything, so perhaps we could have got away with playing the Makto, but as they've not seen it, maybe that's a good reason for them not to use it, because having the Statuary Maiden on their side isn't going to do anything for them. I've got Rise to the Challenge, which is excellent. Because that means we can just go and get Icaria, just close the game out that way. It's very difficult for our opposing deck to be able to deal with that. So get Icaria, and I'm not going to play the power. That tips them off like 100% as to what we've just got. So Stone Sky Scrapper, so it's going to work out perfectly for us. They didn't have 2 units to be able to sacrifice to the Scrapper, so we've got a Cudgel, which wasn't going to do much here, but we do have the Icaria. Now Paul's going to make short work of our opponent because it's going to be lethal in like 3 turns. Next time we're just going to start loading up the Icaria with some Cudgels. I've got a little bit of chip damage here from the Stonepowder Alchemist. I don't see our opponent coming back from this. They'll need to be able to pop this Aegis and then like ManuS it and combust it. They've already used the combust. And they've not seen any extra cards really, just the draw for turn. Yep, my opponent's seen enough. Okay, so we've got the Icaria in hand, which isn't excellent. We've got like a bunch of Scout Lands and some Seek Powers, so all our powers side, we don't have much in the way of actual interaction, and I don't see us just being able to sit here on like power drops. Even though we're on the play, we get like an extra turn to not be under any pressure. I don't think we can actually keep this, so I'm going to give it a redraw. But the hand's definitely keepable. Okay, so we've got here, so we've got a couple of Scout Lands, and they've got like the wanted poster into Hammer, or probably just like the Whirling Duo. So Icaria, sorry, don't need you. We can suit you later. Just really want to hit power, and hopefully this is a matchup where, okay, it's Rakano, so it's a matchup where the Whirling Duo and the Highwayman are potentially quite good. But ideally, I just want to see a Justice Sorcerer, but Slay's probably fine. We could very well be playing against the Mirror, in which case the Slay is less good. But yep, this is... Okay, well... As our opponent does have like weapons in the deck and stuff like that, I might just rather get this out of the way. But I'd also prefer to next turn just like wanted poster on this. We can sort of fish for like any protects or anything like that then, because we'll be able to see if our opponent's got a fast spell. So I think for now, we're just going to make the Whirling Duo and just crunch in there. Getting a little bit free, so our opponent is going to get the Warcry. But that's also fine, if like they tap out, we'll just get to wanted poster plus Slay, whatever they played that was just a better target for us. So if they make a Whirling Duo, we're going to chunk in for 5 here, but we're about to negate this. And we'll do another Slay because we're very good at this game. So let's put wanted poster on here. And we'll use the file one to show them whose business. So I'd like to draw like a Justice Source for this Runehammer. Okay, we've got the Crest, so we're in good shape. We've also got a Torch. So I'm just going to keep sort of topping our life up. But when you've got lifesteal and you know like any sort of like beat down racing situation, you just have to sort of like also have to worry about this guy. Just sort of consider it as like we're dealing 3 to our opponent, but they're dealing 1 to us. So right now, you'll keep running for Torch. Torch seems quite good against this deck. We can't actually use the Vicious Highwayman for much in the way of value. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to attack. If they block, I'm going to kill the other 2 things. If they don't block, I'm just going to kill the 2 things with Warcry. The overwhelm over here, not a problem. The Warcry, I don't really want to just let our opponent improve the quality of their draw too much. So this here is just like a neutral, so we're going to gain 3 and deal 3. And our opponent's got 4/4, which is more than fine. This is the point where we'll probably sit back with this. So right now we'll just Runehammer this away. And then, I don't really want my opponents to get Warcries, but can't really attack with this unless they remove this. So I think we will just kill the bigger threat at this point. This also leaves us open to next turn, where we're able to just fish a Highwayman this down. And Highwayman's going to put in some actual work. Okay, so opponent gets to... Okay, they've not gone for it. They've just given up. Well, what we're going to do is just like maybe the Highwayman, kill the other guy, and just get in there, gain some life. Okay, so on the draw, and we've got a powerful hand over here. We've also got like a wanted poster to sort of loot us through it, as well as a Runehammer if the wanted poster and the Vara's Favour aren't able to deal with it. So we'll keep this. We'll be able to find a threat, no doubt. Let's go against Rakano again. Okay. So I'm just going to scout away. I'll keep this. The turns we're able to keep the Runehammer in play, like on your turn, you're just able to like kill something, trigger the lifesteal ability over there. So I think perhaps it's junction. So I'm gonna scout first with the red power. Rise to the challenge, probably a little bit too slow. We've also got stuff going on. There's a consideration for keeping that. We're just gonna use the wanted post head just to pop the sages. Next turn, if our opponent doesn't go too ham, just gonna let Vara's Favour this away. Could have perhaps just taken our chunks for a little bit. And if they play like another threat that could be Vara's favoured, then we'll just hit that. So as there's no like weapons that I'm actually concerned about, we're doing this actually have the double fire. So as there's no weapons that I'm concerned about next turn, I think they'll actually just let this stay in play, like we're going to get another Warcry. But then we're just going to Vicious Highwayman to pop this. And then our Highwayman will have killed something, so it'll get lifesteal and quick draw on a turn. So it'll be very difficult for our opponent to block, so they just make like a Cloud Pants, whatever it's called over here. Okay, Hammer of Might, rats. Well, we still get to hammer it away. And this is a slight problem for us. Oh, we don't get to hammer it away, even worse. Oh, well. That'll teach me. I was thinking of like a 5-cost weapon. Well, give it a slay. Yeah, it's definitely a mistake. If we were just like taking the Vara's Favour while we could, we would have stranded that weapon in our opponent's hand. But I was thinking of the only weapon to worry about being the actual plate. I think we block here. Let's gain 2, put this back into the deck, and then Warcry it. I don't think we do. We can just save this for later. And this means if our opponent deploys another threat, we'll have a blocker for the hammer. Yeah, I was thinking about the plate, which costs 5, and I wasn't thinking about this because the deck's sort of gone a little bit lighter on Hammer of Might. And so I'm going to just play the Runehammer. Our opponent can Finest Hour out of this, but at that point we'll just have a chump blocker. This can't be Vanquish, can all be torched. And if they're detached, they can put torch this if they wanted to. So now just leave the blocker back. We'll block and then try again next turn. And just like hopefully type their power for a bunch of time. Okay. So now we're gonna just like dismember this with our sword. Well, I've got a lot of removal here. So yeah, we'll just use the expensive spells. And we'll pop this. And then next turn we'll be able to kill it with the Annihilate, plus use the Highwayman to get a little bit of life back there. Also got like, we're in the park to be able to play Icaria if we draw one. And hopefully at this point we'll just be able to race this. Because we have multiple sort of removal spells, and I think that's what we'll do. Let's also just get our opponent for 1. So I'm quite happy if we just drew the Warcry right on the Gunslinger. Okay, so we've got a 4-4 fighting up against it. That's going to leave us with a pretty reasonable blocker for this 3-2. Already got a little bit of value out of this. Okay, so let's just shoot this 4-4 out of the sky. We don't get to race anymore. Attacking in, just like trading our 4 for their 1 is not excellent. I'd rather just trade it for the 3-2. I have to find like any other weapons just to be able to do some blocks. Let's get rid of this one. The 2-3 is a lot less threatening to be in play because it doesn't have any Warcry or any other abilities like that. It's already doing its work. Okay, so we're in trouble now. We've got like 2 turns to sort of find some sort of answer to what's going on here. I think perhaps that not using the Vara's favour right early on has caused us quite a lot of trouble. Yep, and that's it. On to the next game. Okay, so I've got here. I don't think it's worth keeping as we can play like our main threat set, and eventually just if we flood out, we can get us there with the Icaria. So I think this is a keep. On the play, we've got a little scout here, so I think that's what we're gonna do. Try and find like a justice source, something like that. Maybe even like a quarry. Though this is good, I'm just gonna bottom it because we don't actually have the 4th power or the justice. Just actually want to get that power in here. The main thing that feels different with this deck is that we don't have any of the privilege of rank. So we are sort of relying on, yeah, the quarry is as good as the power. That's cheap one. We've got 30 into our curve, although keeping the power is probably better because it just means that we guaranteed have the Highwayman. It's okay, also against some sort of mirror. So like the Alchemist. We've got some sort of fast spell that they're just not willing to use right now. So maybe we do just want to slow roll this Highwayman just as a way to sort of remove a Runehammer or something like that. And yep. I'm probably using the torch. Okay, cool. I don't think they were under an immense amount of pressure from this, so the probably could just like save that a little while, but maybe they've got a plan for the 4th turn. So at this point, I'm just gonna Quarry, and yeah, we'll take the Alchemist there, just because this will still draw as a card, perhaps bring us a little bit closer to power, and it did. Also, the Shadow Influence that we've seen there, we don't really need multiples of it. We're heavier in needing multiple fire and multiple justice. So let's see how we fare in the mirror. This could be rough. So, not sure how I feel about Wanted Poster. Okay, well, see what we see here. We do have a Runehammer, which is able to deal with opposing Runehammers, but doesn't do very much against Makto, though. I think we're past that point right now, so we'll just bottom this. I could have actually turned it into a 5-2 with playing the Vicious Highwayman. I think we're just going to save on that for now. Don't think we just need to. Don't think we need to get that rolling quite yet. Okay, so we've got a decision here. We can. This is like the old list with the Sulfide Drakes. We can either torch this now, and we don't take 5, but we get the bonus, or we could like mise off the top a Statuary Maiden, which means we get to negate the Entomb effect. I think because we do have the Vicious Highwayman in hand, I'm just going to take the 5 because we get to kill it in game 4 anyway. So we'll start turn here. The additional justice here, so we're getting very close to just being able to play the Icaria. We'll just one our opponent. Torch this. And our opponent does now have a very potent deck, because a lot of their units do have charged naturals, so now we've got flying as well. But we've got like 2 removal spells, plus the Vicious Highwayman. So we're probably in good shape to race. Quarry here, one of the better cards from the first expansion. Yep. Oh, got a nice 6/6 Icaria here. Well, we're just going to keep getting in for 2. So soften our opponent up and then hopefully when we're able to lay these down, they'll just be able to get some work in. So we do sort of need an undepleted fire to be able to play this. But we've still got outs to seek power and Quarry to try and find it. So charge Makto is something. And they're not firing in. I'm happy to sort of threaten this torch here, just get this out of the sky. They would have shown to me that they're gonna okay, there's Joe again. I mean, I've done that plenty of times. But they're a little bit concerned about the Icaria, so they're just gonna sort of sit back a little bit. Attack him before showing my opponent anything. And I'll probably just trade off the Makto if they let me. Sort of buying time here until we're able to lay these Icarias down. The 6/6 does a good job of keeping this in check. I could much prefer to actually have the power than a second Icaria. I think we'll just slay this now, just get out of here. We're at high enough life total where we're not too concerned with just taking 5 for a couple of turns. But I'll try to just shuffle it a little bit further down the deck. And our opponent's hand doesn't look very strong. Just want to start getting in there and then just have an uncontested Icaria if we're able to get that. Okay, so I think right now we've got a couple of Destiny units here. And our opponent is at 8, so maybe the Stonepowder Alchemist, good, because we have a 4-2 lifesteal. But I'm also quite happy just to get in there with this Inquisitor Makto. Okay, so it's not quite the power we need. I'll play it out here because we've got enough here that if we get any depleted power, we'll still be able to play the Icaria. Not blocking here. Our opponent's probably going to have like some sort of follow-up play here. Okay, so harsh roll. I figured that they were just going to follow up with a... Well, we've got the sort of 2-for-1 here, because we've got to put this white post on the bottom. And I'm just going to play the 6/6. I probably shouldn't be able to put too much in the air. Yeah, that'll do it. But keep our opponent lethal to any Stonepowder Alchemists. Okay, nice easy redraw. And this sounds a lot better. It's a scout. I mean, we're going to be struggling to find the fire influences for Icaria. But hopefully the scout and just naturally drawing up to 7 will just get us there. So I've got another torch. I've got 2. And I don't think even in matchups where 2 torches are good, like a third one is significantly better than like any random card. So we'll bottom that. Because if we have the matchup where the Seek's actually bad, let the banner here. Just 2 open up a fire sigil. If we're in like a matchup where the 2 torches are bad, like a third one will just be a disaster. And this looks like another mirror, excellent. I can sort of see why people are getting tired of this then. So I'm finding it very interesting just to watch the evolution of this deck and to see how it changes. So basically got it all now. So just get the additional fire sigil so that we're able to curve very nicely into the Icaria. And just, as the Whirling Duo says, let's dance. It's consideration if our opponent makes a one-hit poster that we just like torch our guy, but I don't think we'll do that. And yeah, that's fine, you can slay our unit. There's no like actual unit discard that we have to be concerned with in these colours. Well, these influence colours. So we're actually pretty safe here just to sort of sit back and then just take over the Icaria. I'd very much like next turn just to play and have die Destiny unit, and that'd be excellent. So I'm just going to slow roll the Fire Source, just so they don't worry too much about Icaria. We trade here and just have like nice Destiny unit for buff, but I don't think I'm going to bother. I think I'm just going to torch this, that's fine. I'm going to stop our opponent from gaining life just so we can sort of close the door. With the chip damage from these Stonepowder Alchemists, it's very easy just to... Okay, our opponent's off it. Okay, so it's probably going to be the last game here, and this hand's a easy redraw. 2 scouts are tempting. This hand's is a lot worse, but at least we get to pretend we're playing Argentport for a bit. This could very well be the Argentport mirror. So I'll play Justice down first. Hopefully these Vara's favours are good, but I doubt it given these colours. Or just going like straight to the face and just keep one for a hammer. Well, we've got a good way of dealing with hammers anyway. The mirror again. Wow. Well, we've got a Fire Source here, so we're going to play it out. Then next time we can like Shadow and Alchemist. I've still got the Vara's Favours left to deal with any Runehammers or anything like that. So we'll tag team these in some sort of way just to sort of finagle a victory against a Stonepowder Alchemist. Let's play the non-charge unit first, because then the next time we get to play with haste, we'll get to attack with them both at the same time. There's like one less damage. A 0 cost 1 imposter. So this gets a Fire Source. I think for now just like double Vara's Favour this, because we're not going to have very many targets. So yeah, let's play this Shadow out. I feel slightly ahead of the double one imposter player now. If anyone wants to like slay this, that's more than fine. I'm very happy for that to happen. And if they do it for weapon, we've got like ways of dealing with it. So actual slay versus our Stonepowder Alchemist is good. Get to draw 2, it's going to go up to 4 here. But I think we're quite ahead because our wanted posters are still somewhere in our deck and not in our hand. Okay, well. Can't keep up Annihilate, but it's not going to do anything in this matchup. Opponent might still be playing like an old list where they're still playing the Soulfire Drake, but in that case, just like so be it. And probably going to torch it, looks like. And I'll just pass the turn. So with this dude hanging around, it's your weapons are never been less safe. So we can find her. Like ideally a Rise. But I'll start off for an Icaria because that's what I was rising for anyway. Okay, so we'll just get a 4-cost Makto, that's good for me. Play the fire out, just let him fear the Icaria this time. If we don't have it, let him think about it. It's nice to sort of have one of the Vara's Favours left so that we can team up with the Runehammer to destroy any opposing Icarias. Well, right here we'll just block him. And that's fine by me. I'm just going to do this. I'll probably just get the +5/+5 in the deck. We'll just Runehammer this. Just get rid of any threats. The hammer's not going to do very much. Like maybe it'll snap off like a Whirling Duo. Do we see anything like that? 7/9. It's going to be very difficult to deal with. And we've not got much in the way of being able to deal with this now. The other way is to actually like just outrace it. If our opponent's having removal spells, perhaps we can mutually trade our Usually trade our Statuary Maidens off if they allow, but that's doubtful. So we're not in good shape here, and we've got basically one turn to sort of find a way out. So play the Shadow Wave just for the symmetry. And there's Whirling Duo, so it doesn't actually change the clock really, but unlikely we'll find a way of dealing with this. But we can still, yeah, we can draw like Rise to the challenge, Rise for a Runehammer, and then combine it with the Torch to kill this. And we've got one imposter, which isn't quite what we're looking for, but it means that we get to turn this Torch into some actual cards. So this is perhaps how I'm going to feel the difficulty of not having Harsh Will to sort of just reset these board states. Okay, well. Well, do we just get the Makto? We get this, it's 4 cost, we get the Makto, and we get to draw a card. We're just going to Quarry first, because the Makto's in there, we'll just do it that way. Okay, well, we'll just have it all. We'll vanquish this guy. And then we'll just Rise. Just grab the Icaria just as a nice quick way of closing the game out. Uh-oh, well, we're in trouble. Well, I'm going to offer the trade, but I don't think our opponent's going to take it. Okay, well. Well, we need to attack with this just to not be dead to a torch. And our opponent doesn't consider the trade because obviously the life total's high enough. But I've never got 2 blockers for this, so it's unlikely it's going to get through, but they will get a plus 10. Well, they've got a plus 5 now. Well, this guy's getting slayed. I will trade my Makto here very happily. Hopefully just like draw it instantly, but not so lucky. Well, we get to give it some plus power bonuses. And now on the edge of our seat. Can't leave that in play. There, just got these 2 bricks in hand, but our opponent's got no cards in hand. So maybe they'll draw a wanted poster or like an Annihilate or something. Just let us off for a turn. And nope, it is hopefully not an Icaria that's got buffs, because then we are dead. Nope, 9/7. For draw card attached. Uh-oh. Well, now we are dead. But okay, let's have a think about this. We haven't got enough power to get an Icaria, so it could be that we had like enough buffs on top, but what do we do? So we'll get in there. We'll Rise and see where our buffs have gone. Okay, we've got a 1916 Runehammer, so that will just about do it, I think. Now we need to decide which one we want to deal with, because if we kill this with the Runehammer, our opponent doesn't get to gain any life this turn. And I think that's a pretty reasonable spot to be in. Also means we take less damage next turn when we let this through, because we ain't blocking. Cowards can't block warriors, obviously. And we've got Makto, which is going to be a bit of a pain. Got to take this damage. Let's have a little scout, see what's on top. Crest, we can't afford to have that. It's been pretty close, edgy seat game. This could go either way at this point. Okay, so opponent's at 4 now. It's unlikely. Well, they just can't really get away with doing this, so I'm just going to kill the 7/9 and probably trade off here, and then we should be able to win with the weapon. Oh, opponent draws a torch, then we're dead, but they didn't, so we win. Okay, so that last game was something. I've enjoyed playing this deck. I like the inclusions, and I've really enjoyed watching sort of the evolution of this deck and just seeing how it's changed like over the past 2 weeks. And really liking some of the newer inclusions like the Statuary Maiden. You saw how much work it did against us in the last mirror actually. It's just been a really hard to deal with threat. I think right now that perhaps Annihilate's getting a little bit weaker because some of the better decks are just playing these dual faction units like Statuary Maiden, which Statuary Maiden's got a lot of interesting play to it, and against matchups with Vanquish, you don't want to put the cudgels on her because you get to keep her around. And against matches with removals like torches and weapons and obliterates, you get to put the cudgels on her just to keep her safe. Obviously, she'll just get slain, and That's not great, and it's not very good at racing if there's no units on the opposing side of the board, but it's a great inclusion, and it's a better answer to this sort of deck, as it deals with Entomb and Revenge, which is something that Studio of the Past doesn't currently do. Also, the Vicious Highwayman, which feels right at home here, and though we are a control deck, we've now got like a fundamental turn where we can just like turn the game around a lot quicker and a lot easier. We can just start to win in a more realistic time frame, and I think that's really good, especially for the ladder in terms of game times. And the last thing you want is you're playing like against a control deck that's just taking forever to win because they've just got like one threat that has got Aegis, but you can just eventually grind through it because they've just had no other targets for your removal. And now you've got other targets for removal because all the stuff that's going to deal with your Makto and your Icaria also deals with Highwayman. And if Highwayman just like puts a Warcry and kills an X1 and just eats a removal spell, that's fine because that's the actual things I want to win with, nice and safe. And if we got lucky, we got to get in for a little bit of damage or even kill a weapon because Charge is a very powerful ability. Especially when you just like pair it with all this removal, and it just means that you can just get through out of nowhere. So, overall, I've had fun, but I want to talk about the future of the channel here. So I've heard some feedback about perhaps me doing some budget decks, and I find it very difficult to think about budget decks in general just because I've got the full collection. So if there's any decks that you think are off the radar and you'd like to see me play, just let me know. Hit me up in the comments, find me on Reddit, find me on Twitter. You know, just let me know. Send me a message and I'll give it a try. Because I could probably just build it and give it a run through the gauntlet and like give you a little bit of what I think about it at the beginning, just how I think it's going to perform, and at the end, just like see how it does perform. If there's any changes I'd make, like how you'd, after you've got a little bit more to your collection, how would you upgrade it? Just things like that. So I'm going to need a little bit of help from you on that. But other than that, I've been That Resolves, and this was Charge FGS. It's been a blast. See you later.